He's whiny.
Yeah, like he sounds like such a bitch.
I remember my first job when I worked at like a fast food company. It wasn't like the CEO, but like a pretty like a not a maybe it was a regional manager or like the guy who ran like the state or something. Like a pretty big hot person high up on the chain. Like came to our store and like worked in the kitchen with us, and I was like, that's kind of cool. But at the same time, it's also like not really that cool. Like what, you don't have enough to do. Like why are you in the?
Was he doing it
kitchen?
for like experience or?
I think it was a new store. So I guess he wanted to like have his fingerprint on like the new store behavior, like the routines and stuff.
Wouldn't it be funny if he just came in to like stunt on everyone? Like the CEO like, wants to come in and say like, I'm a fucking better fry cook than you. Like I'm better at this also.
He's like, yeah. As it turns out, I'm the first fucking fry cook, you bitch.
I worked at a company in high school that had something similar like this, where they got a new like. I don't think it was C-suite. I think it was something just barely outside of C-suite. But he came in and he went down, and there was this talk that he gave, and at one point he moved something on a forklift, and the way that he did it was very clearly designed to basically show all of the warehouse forklift operators that he was better at driving a fork truck than they were. It was so fucking funny.
Just be like, yeah, I started at the bottom, and I'm at the top because I'm better than you.
Yeah, like he was 100% flexing his forklift operator's license.
I respect that. The high level technique.
No, and it worked too. That's the other thing. Like this is something that I 100% figured out was, if you design any sort of machinery, equipment, etc., and then you go out and you deal with the guys on the line. Anytime you have a new product release, you're always going to have this situation, right? Where these guys are fucking bitching about like, dude, you can't fucking put this shit together. It's a fucking pain in the ass. And then like you just show them how to do it. And, not only do their friends make fun of them, like, when the engineer comes out and outdoes them at their assembly job, they're now like the town bitch. But they all will respect the fuck out of you forever, basically,
for doing
you flex on them in this way. And they will also be afraid, right? This is the other really nice thing is the next time they call you out and say like, this shit don't work, bro. This shit don't go together. Like they will make damn sure that they have tried fucking everything because they do not want to be embarrassed in front of all their friends.
Yeah, you definitely don't want the desk jockey to come down and show you up.
Yeah, it is deeply humiliating.
Well, that's cool though. I think that is definitely a move. Like I think that's probably a good thing to do though, or just in general, like when you're in a leadership role, to be willing to it sometimes at strategic times to get down to get your hands dirty.
It's also really like you kind of want a job where this is something that you can do every now and then, right? Like everyone memes about how like, oh, like it would be so awesome. This is a common meme on like right-wing Twitter. All these guys who work white-collar desk jobs saying like, oh, like I should have been a fucking plumber. I should have been a fucking welder or some shit like that. And it's like, no. What you actually want is basically your exact job, but one day out of the week you get to like go outside or weld or some shit, right?
Yeah.
Like you don't actually want to be doing this full time. You don't want this to be your obligation. Like this stuff, we memed the trades way too fucking hard. They actually like they suck. Like they suck unless you start your own business. And basically, I would say like if you're gonna start your own, like become an electrician.
Run
an electrician's company, right? Like that's where like anything involving.
Also, electricity is like complicated and also annoying to deal with. So like you get a little bit of a mental task involved there. And if you run your own business, now you're doing a desk job. And every once in a while you can get out there and master electrician some shit and get electrocuted.
Yeah, basically. And I mean, you can also like once you've done like residential electrical, I actually know a few people who have gotten into like bizarre like EE tier startups. And like that's something that the software shit got like highly oversaturated. Everybody is like, oh, be a software engineer. And it's like, it's a cool meme, I guess. But it's everyone did it, right? Like everybody and their brother and their mom now wants to have the based laptop, like poolside girl TikTok job where they are a tech company programmer or something like that. Like this is, and I'm not saying that you can't like be very successful and make a lot of money as a programmer, but I am saying that it is a highly fucking saturated field.
I mean, I feel like the opportunities to make the crazy money are very few and far between now. You'll make a decent job worth of money.
Yeah.
But it's saturated.
But electrical engineering is that's a very fun place to be going into now still.
I'm probably too old, and I'm probably realistically should just be doing media stuff like this. But if I ever decide to up my credentials, I was thinking that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, no, I'll always chill hard for electrical engineers. But anyway, where I was going with this was like most of these trades, you know, like if you don't start your own company and you're out there working, laboring every day, like it's not a meme. Like it does fuck your body up, right? Like how many old welders do you know? Right? You inhale vaporized metal every day for long enough, you're going to die. Like it's not like it's like, oh, like they make $110 a year or $110,000 a year. Like they do. And that's not like, I'm not saying that's like a shitty amount of money. And especially with like no degree, you make that 4 years out of college, like you'll save up a lot of money and be ahead of everyone. But like you have to consider that like the trade-off you're making is you're going to have like 20 years less with your kids, right? Like you're going to die.
Point, yeah, there are no old welders. Actually, yeah, that's a good point. I don't know a single person who's
no, and like we have extremely advanced fume hoods right now, and like there are a lot of regulations now in America that there were not years ago surrounding the use of these fume hoods. But still, like there's no way to avoid it. There's no way to get around the fact that if you weld, you are going to be inhaling a bunch of shit that is going to fucking kill you.
Yeah,
and you know you can like mitigate the effects and stuff like that, but it's
still not ideal.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess trade wise, you're probably the ideal one. I guess is plumbing, just by being boring, or electricity, but you can die from that too. I feel like electricians die all the time. No, just because they get.
I think it's kind of hard. You know, like there's a few rules where if you follow them, it's like it's you know it's kind of like gun safety, right? Like if you're following all the gun safety rules, it's fucking impossible to be shot, right?
True.
People do generally get a little bit, you know,
lax.
Yeah, a little bit lax.
So it goes.
I don't think that. Actually, what do you think is the most fun trade?
Most fun trade? If I had to pick my choice of trade, I'd probably go in. So I don't know if this is fun or not, but it kind of seems cool if I was a carpenter and made like furniture.
I guess, the woodworking stuff is sort of fun, right? Yeah. I've always had a very like industrial sense for like I appreciate metal more than wood, and like I do like welding. Like that's the reason that I am going off on this very sad tangent about how it's upsetting that welding kills you is because like I do like I like the activity. It's a fun thing to do every now and then, right? Like if I had a job where it's like I mostly do desk bitch stuff, I mostly am dealing with calls all day, and then one day out of the week I get to go and just like weld something and I make like an equal amount of money. That would be awesome.
Yeah. I never tried welding before. It does seem fun. I mean, like a blowtorch looks sick as fuck, so I'm sure it is fun.
Yeah. I mean, it's especially like TIG welding is one of those things that there's enough variables going on that it's sort of like an art form.
What about, so you're saying inhaling is bad. Do underwater welders end up getting hurt? Because I feel like they wouldn't.
So
right?
Underwater welders, they don't wind up inhaling a bunch of shit that kills them. They wind up basically getting swept away by currents and dying.
What?
They actually die even sooner than every other variety of welder. But that was good that you thought of that because you know,
they get swept away in the currents. What the fuck are they doing? Don't they have flippers on?
Yeah, they have like a tether and stuff like that, but there's always like some weird shit where they like either they forget to tether or they don't expect there to be currents in this one area, or I don't know. There's actually like a very long list of things that kill these people, but like underwater welders, I think literally have the shortest lifespan of any profession in the entire United States.
Oh, that's crazy. That I would not have guessed.
It is actually
I would have expected insane. like the oil rigger, like those deep sea riggers.
Yeah.
Them or like maybe fishermen, like the Alaskan fishermen. Wow, dang. The more you know. Because that always sounded cool. You're like, I'm an underwater welder. Like that's kind of a sick, cool, like a sick ass job.
I actually know this sort of like a really mousy, floppy kid who went into underwater welding. And he, now that I'm saying this, it has a funny end to the story, I guess. But he wound up pulling a lot of these like really outsized level bitches, not like big bitches, but like
way out of his league.
They were way badder than like a kid as floppy as he was. I was expecting to pull. And then one day he just disappeared, and I never heard of him. So
yeah, so I guess he
right. I know. And I was like, oh,
we learned what happened here.
I was like, I wonder what fucking Colin got up to. And then I was like,
Faustin,
I did just go on a rant about how these people get swept away and they die.
A little Faustian bargain here.
Yeah,
live life on you speed run life with that one, I guess.
Yo, so I have a fun question here. We have our audio, like, you know, the interfaces and stuff like that, right? But like, I think it would be fun to just record everything that I do, right? Like everyone that I talk to in my life, all the people who come visit my house, all of these conversations, and just force everything to be content.
That's so
they have these little recorders that can record everything to like SD cards. But like, I'm trying to figure out what like the funny microphone setup for that would be. Like, you can have like those little, you know, the little microphones that go on your shirt, and you can just clip it there. Yeah, they don't sound as good, and it's not as funny, those. I don't think. And also, like, it's hard to mic up like multiple people that way, right? The alternative would be carrying around a handheld microphone everywhere and just like handing it off to people and like forcing them to engage in like you know, the Lucas game show on a daily basis.
I think that's much more fun. Especially if
I do think
one of those like branded,
I definitely think that one's funnier.
Those little cubes around the mic that has the branding.
Oh, you know? Yeah, we could get those with just the raccoon shit. Yeah, dude, you know what we really need to do? Like literally, like instantly. Like this actually needs to be like a fairly high priority item for us. We need to set up like a Teespring store or some shit like that with like raccoon design elements.
I was saying this before, and then everyone was like, selling merch is fucking cringe and blah 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 blah. I'm like, bro, but we have a raccoon branding. Like, why do we not?
I do think merch? The raccoon shit looks. But basically, what I learned was that like it doesn't involve any sort of work or investment startup. You just like give them the design, they print the shirt, and then like you get like some tiny amount of profit.
Yeah, it's very easy. Also, now it's Patreon integrated shirts. I mean, sorry, a store into it now. So it's also very simple.
Are they going to rape us on fees?
I don't know. I have to look at the details, but I'm pretty sure you could just connect. I imagine you could just connect Teespring or something to it. Well, yeah, I mean, we have to figure out because you know, like, I think a million
Patreon
designs.
Is not great about fees. Actually,
that's a good point.
Nobody is great about fees, dude. Like, so you know how various people now have started charging you like an additional fee for using like a credit card instead of other form of payment.
No, but I have heard that. I didn't know that was a thing.
So I've seen this happening in more like brick and mortar stores that I've gone to, where they'll say like, we prefer cash, and I'm like, why? And they're like, we have to pay like a transaction fee every time.
Oh yeah, I've seen that before. Yeah, like
and I was like I knew that, but I didn't. So I started looking up the numbers for what it's actually like, and it's somewhere between like 2% and 3% of like the total cost they have to pay to process a credit card transaction. Like, they're getting skimmed hard as fuck.
Yeah, that's why they make you do like minimums, like minimum purchases for cards.
Yeah. So did you see that? Did you see that like I think it's like Visa Bank or something is using like Solana as its settlement layer because they don't have to pay that like 2 to 3% every time they make a transaction?
No, but that's really
this is
funny.
Like the first actual fucking use case I've heard for crypto in the last like 7 years, dude.
If it's Solana, then that makes me really bullish, and I'm about to.
That makes me extremely bullish. That makes me want to buy like I want to go like so balls deep in Solana.
Yeah, I already got a little bit of Solana. I'm trying to stock up, and that made me super bullish if that's the case.
Just that it being so.
We also, by the way, we don't even have to make new designs. We literally have like 100 designs because of all we keep doing the shirts. I mean, the different cover.
Yeah, we just keep running. We keep running the AI off on the raccoons, and like, I mean, we at this point, like, we can figure out what the best ones are, right? We're not just gonna spam them. But I do definitely think that needs to happen. Also, another funny thing is that like watching all of the Aside from all of the Israeli-Palestinian discourse on the timeline, I've seen a lot of stuff recently about women, women just giving their takes on porn, right? Overall. And
Yeah.
I'm starting to see the funniest thing is like the breakdown of women saying like, oh, well, like porn is exploitational because the porn producers charge 50% of fees, whereas OnlyFans only charges 35% of fees. So it's more, there's surely like some additional logic around like why porn is like more exploitational or whatever. But like,
it's just
I
because
see
of
a lot of people
usury.
where their argument basically boils down to, oh, there's less fees on OnlyFans, right? It's more independent, less fees. So
it's really just a critique of capitalism, if you think at the end of the day.
Like I think this would be like a really funny, the male equivalent of this would be like critiquing like Gumroad versus Patreon and saying that like Patreon is exploitational of men because they're charging podcasters an additional 8% per episode.
I agree with that. Hey, listen, I'm here. You have me. I'm already sold.
Right. So I think it's a fairly
James shifted to Gumroad for that reason.
Really?
He's Jewish. Yeah.
It gives you like slightly better fees or something.
Yeah. It's like, I don't know the exact numbers, but it's slightly better. So he picked it. I just don't like that just because people like with a Patreon, I feel like people are already used to it. So they just go to it. I feel like Gumroad
Gumroad is like a weird, like dissident band right website.
Yeah.
And, like they recently raised the fees. And I'm going to be honest, man, like the app, the Gumroad app is
it's the worst app of all time, bro. And you can't, bro, when you try to listen to podcasts on it, it almost always crashes. It's so bad. I hate it. It made me so upset with listening to Bab's podcast on it. I eventually just started downloading everything to my computer. No, I don't like Gumroad. So I'm not moving there, but I do like your bit though.
It would be nice to have an extra 8%.
It would be nice, but we can make it up on T-shirts. It'd be fine.
We're sitting here like spending hours and hours deliberating over like a difference of like $6.15.
Is the most you are Jewish. We already established that.
I love shit like this where it's like like thinking about everything from like an overhead and like business management standpoint makes you realize how many times in life you're just being like a huge total fucking retard. Basically anytime you spend more than like 2 hours reading up on a product decision, it's like you're wasting money. Like go do
something else.
It's over. Like you should have just clicked buy. How is this still happening?
Yeah. No, I think no. This one on a deep level, I just cannot fathom. I will, if it's more than like 20%, I will sit there and fidget with the numbers and stuff and care. But when it's under 5%, I'm like, what's the fucking difference? Who gives a shit? The not having to deal with this anymore is worth the 5% in my head.
I've actually been running into, this is going to be so embarrassing because this was the initial example that we used of you being better at these decisions than me.
The first episode, maybe.
One of the very first episodes. Back to the laptop thing. I have my 16-inch MacBook.
Oh, you're back on the MacBook?
No, I love it. However, I'm sitting here with it, and I have now, because I've been using it to make videos, right? I have the power plugged in, I have the external SSD, I have the camera, I have the audio interface, all of this cord shit, right? It's all, so every time I want to move it from here to my bed, I have to unplug all these cords, and then I have to plug everything back in, and I have to boot it all up again. And I'm now like, I just need to buy another MacBook to take around the house.
And the 14-inch MacBook's back. You have to pre-buy it. You fucking bet like it's 3 months trying to sell it, and now you have to buy it back.
No, I think I'm just gonna go with like a MacBook Air.
Okay, well, hey, at least you're making some progress.
Yeah, we're at least trying out like new horizons, right?
Yeah. I support your decision. I mean, actually, I kind of hate that too. Having to plug and replug everything. And I only have to do it with the core, like the outlet, like the.
Well, dude,
charger.
do you want to know how I came to this decision? Like this was so retarded. This was like, so I realized, okay, if my problem is that I have to unplug these like 8 cables and then replug them in, couldn't I just get a dock and then only have like one cable to plug in instead of like all these monitors and connections and shit? And so I'm like, okay, let's Google search which docks work, and everyone's like, oh, like no dock works unless it's like fucking this one, and then it's like a $450 dock, and I was like, fuck it, I'm just gonna buy another laptop at this point. Like,
yeah, what's the
that's
difference? It's like
basically
another
like what a
$200.
used MacBook Air costs at this point.
Yeah, like literally. I mean, like I literally think I paid $700 for mine. Buying a $450 dock is not gonna. Absolutely the fuck not.
Right. I was just like, this is fundamentally retarded. This is really stupid. Like a $450 dock. Like who are these people that are spending this much money to consolidate their cables? And then I was like, it's Charlotte Fang. That's who's doing it.
Optimize. You gotta optimize your experience. Yeah, I don't know. That's funny though. I mean, I think having two computers is nice though. I don't have two computers right now, but I'm always very thankful of having two when I have them.
Well, it's always this really terrifying situation you're in when you have like one main laptop, because like, what if it dies, right?
Yeah. I don't like that. Like,
if I lose my laptop and I have to like go out and like it's like I literally have to drop everything in my life, right? Like I could be basically like there at my like mom's funeral, and like if my laptop goes out, it's like, oh fuck, like now I actually like this has to be like item number 2 on my mind, right? Like I have to like slip out to go to the bathroom and buy another fucking MacBook. I feel a little bit of danger in this sense now because, you know, previously I had my PC, which had like a bajillion hard drives that were like, you know, I can lose the PC, but I'll have like the data and I'll be able to just plug it into something else. I don't really have that on this.
Yes. That's how I feel. That's how I was feeling. Well, that's how I'm starting to feel now that there's a lot of stuff. I mean, I have the backup drives and shit like that now.
I have the backup drive. It's not the data necessarily that would kill me with the MacBook. It's just the fact that like when I'm rendering video on this bitch, it literally is like 20 times faster than every other alternative I have. So like I can render the video and then be done in like 30 minutes. Whereas it's so like, fast. Like I literally have to tie up an entire computer for like a whole day doing this on something else.
Yes. On the when I was using my Linux computer, it would take like 2 hours to do what takes 10 minutes on this laptop, which I think is very funny. It's
so fast.
Because my Linux computer,
and like I have a ton of other computers now. Like I have my Windows computer that I use for like a bunch of solid modeling stuff still. I have all of the Linux laptops, like the ThinkPads. I have a ThinkStack at this point. I have like 10 of them scattered around. And
I have a couple broken ones in my closet.
Yeah, mine all work, but I'm now like, you know, like they were all basically what I used as my computers for everything up until I got the MacBook. And I was like, okay, well, this just like shits on all of them, right? Like the reason that I liked them was because they sufficed for what I did, but I never did need like video or audio editing. And now that I do that stuff, it's like,
yeah, it definitely is very, very strong at that.
You know, like
it's clearly
Linux
optimized to do that.
Works if you want to like browse the internet and use like web-based applications. Like
also fine for gaming. Not great for gaming, but it's fine. Like,
and it's like it'll get her done, I guess. And it's like a bit of a pain in the ass, but like if you're just using your desktop as a desktop, it's like mostly fine. But then like the instant you set into any sort of, you know, if you ever need to do 3D design, you ever need to do any sort of like serious production of audio, video, you want to use like industry software, right? Like, I mean, it's like kind of okay, I guess, for like coding, but honestly, like Mac is still better. There's gonna be like 80 bajillion people who are way better at coding than me sitting out there like, well, actually, and like I'm sure they're right, but like
I feel like for coding
for like
a
total fucking retard, it's better at coding, right?
I like every single thing I use on Mac because Mac is a Unix computer. The coding's equivalent because I could use almost the same exact programs for everything, and also for the things I end up having to do, it's on command line anyway. It's exactly the same. So that one is whatever, but for anything that requires proprietary software, and I feel like most creative endeavors require proprietary software, it's night and day. Even though I did like Kdenlive, which is like the Linux open source version, it's very similar to DaVinci, but really, I mean, I think DaVinci it just might not be on Linux. But anyway, point being, yeah, it's just night and day. It's so much, it works faster, it works better.
Yeah, like open source software is one of those things that like from a theoretical philosophical level, it sounds really nice and I would love to support it, but like it
It's just not as optimized. It's not like
bad.
it's it's not as it does all the same features, but you don't have a team of people who are spending the entire time working out the kinks and making it streamlined. And
I mean, the classic example is like GIMP versus Photoshop, right?
Yeah.
And like, I fucking hate Adobe, right? Like, I mean, fucking Affinity Photo, I think, is like getting very, very close to where Photoshop is at, like, you know, a $50 one-time purchase price versus Adobe's like $60 every month price tag for like Photoshop at this point.
I cannot believe that they were able to get away with that, by the way.
Dude, they really truly have got everyone by the balls, right? Like the entire graphic design community uses Photoshop for everything, and they just keep fucking ratcheting it, and people just keep paying. It's really insane. They appear to be able to squeeze a nearly infinite amount of capital out of this market segment.
Because I remember when it was just like, oh, here's a $1,200 program. And even then, that was ridiculous.
Yeah, it was like a $1,200 program. And they're like, okay. Well, what if instead of charging you $1,200 for lifetime updates, we charged you like $500 a year for the rest of your life? And everyone was like, wow, that's awesome.
But like what you lost is that there used to be you used to be able to like get it once and use it forever. Or like even back then when you were able to burn it and like there was no like super crazy DRM. That stuff, those are the days, but now it's just insane.
Well, and there's also this thing with like pirating software where like,
oh fuck, my voice is starting to
go.
Me. Yeah, because of this concert. Also, I was already having my voice lost last week, but
yeah, I think mine got a little bit fried from the activities of yesterday. But there's definitely this thing with wait, what the fuck were we just talking about?
Photoshop.
Oh, I was gonna say there's definitely this thing with like pirating software where you have to like get in the headspace of it, right? Or you have to just be like familiar with it. And like back when I was a kid and I was like on my like anarcho internet weirdo phase, I was like very, all the best ways to like torrent and pirate basically everything. Yeah. You know how to get around the because like a lot of programs have like the server checks. Like you open SolidWorks and it sends a ping back to
I had it all down to a science back.
Yeah, and we all figured out how to get around all of this, and we just knew like how to remove the trackers, all that shit. And now it's like a decade later. If I want to try and pirate anything, I have to like relearn how to do all of that. And then it's like it comes down to like, am I going to relearn all of that, or am I just going to pay the $100? And I'm now at the point where it's like I think I'm just going to pay. Actually, like
we're old enough now that we can just afford it.
Yeah,
even though we don't want to do it, but it's like the hassle of trying to learn it. It's like That's how they got me, bro. I didn't realize until now that that's how they get you. Back when you were young and you had no money, there was no choice anyway. It's like, what am I going to ask my parents for this? I want to get an Xbox too.
Yeah, so but now it's such a pain in the ass. Like, it's like anyone can do it. Any retard can learn how to pirate software. It's not difficult. It's just like, do I want to spend the 30 minutes going and looking around on a bunch of like forums for posts that have been copywritten by like some sort of like ESL retard?
Yeah. I just can't.
Going and sitting through, clicking through all of these, and then they insert like 875 ads per like square centimeter. Like you just get bombarded with like the most pixel dense ad of your entire life. Like your brain is getting, it's like just like extreme synaptic oversaturation. Your brain is firing on every neuron, processing like all these flashing fucking ads.
Yeah, no, just fuck that. Yeah, we might have to call it because my voice is very rapidly falling off.
Damn.
Yeah, I've had this happen in the last few days because like my voice was gone like all of last week. And it was basically fine as of Thursday or Friday. But by the end of the festival day, I was like coughing every other word, and I'm like, all right, so I'm clearly pushing it. But
yeah, I've been coughing like, too. Maybe this is like COVID-5 or whatever.
No, this isn't COVID. We talk too goddamn much, both of us.
That is so true. I pulled the intern into a call so that I could just test whether or not my interface, because how usually when I use, because I'm actually on my Mac now with the interface, and how previously it had only ever worked on Windows because I couldn't adjust the buffer size on Mac.
Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah, I
figured out now how to get it to fucking work on my Mac, so I can now finally fucking use my main computer, and I flatly have no use for that computer anymore because I used it for 3D solid design, which I barely ever do anyway. But now I figured out Fusion 360 works on Mac too, so I can just do that. So I am just like, anyway, so I pulled the dude into a test call to figure that out with him, and it was supposed to be like a 4 or 5 minute thing, and then I just wound up like talking to him for like 3 hours. So we have another 3 hours of me monologuing to a text that nobody can see that I've thought about putting on the Patreon just because it's like,
yeah, might as well.
It would just be fucking funny, right? Like I like not even like telling them what's going on in the in betweens, just being like assume that it's like contextually relevant, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, we both talk too goddamn much. You talk even more than me somehow. I don't even know how it's possible. And speakers cough. When I used to teach, I used to get this too. When like for people who like speak heavily for a living, eventually you just end up with like a shot voice. Sometimes politicians during the campaign trail, you notice they like have a serious cough towards the end of it. Your throat's just not meant for that.
You've got to
somehow no woman
breathing. You know, and this is a pain. This is a real pain because I actually did just today receive my shipment of Botox. So maybe we should be Botoxing our vocal cords to try and
keep them young.
Relax the tightness. And dude, so I was Googling, like I wanted to see what would be the most fun things to Botox. And what I realized is that the penis is composed of 60% smooth muscle tissue.
I'm not Botoxing my dick.
What do you think would happen if you Botox your penis?
Just don't do it.
Well, no, like okay, let's say I won't do it, right? But just let's think about this, right? Do we think?
So you either induce what's that shit called? What's it called when like your foreskin's too tight?
Phimosis, I think.
Yeah, either instantly induce phimosis of your dick skin, which would be hilarious.
That was super funny that we both knew that word, actually.
Yeah, that's such a weird word to know. Anyway, it's also one of the funniest things that could possibly happen, though. So it's hard not to know that word.
Would it? Because okay, so the thing with Botox, if you Botox the muscles on your face that let you frown or that make you smile, like you can effectively change your mood, right? Like it's more effective than taking antidepressants or exercising or going outside if you are to go and Botox all the muscles that make you frown. Like that will have a more positive effect on people's reported mood than any other thing that we have, any other technology, right? Mm-hmm. So would Botoxing my penis stop me from being horny, even if it had no impact on like my hormone levels? Like, would it?
Probably. I mean, like, it's probably the same thing that happens to people with dick cages. And I think
when you say it like that, it makes me really not want to do it. Right?
You should not have. Yeah, you should not want to Botox.
But it would just be funny, wouldn't it?
It is funny, but also don't do it.
Imagine taking a girl back from the bar and being like, and having her just being like, what's going on? And you being like, oh, like, it's not you. Like, I Botoxed my dick. Like, you're beautiful, babe. Like, I Botoxed my penis.
No, it's shrinkage. Yeah. No, I think, no.
Imagine being a girl in that scenario. Do you think there's any situation, like, is there even the slightest sliver of a chance you would believe the guy if he said that he Botoxed his penis?
No chance she's believing you unless she like gets a up close look and notices the tightened scrotum. But more likely than not, she just like.
So what if I pulled out a video of myself Botoxing my penis and said, I knew that you wouldn't believe me, so here's a video of me Botoxing my penis?
I actually do wonder her. I think she'd just be broken. The girls don't know.
I think that probably would kind of like send her brain out into some like alternate reality space. Like she would just be she wouldn't know like what to believe, like who to trust. Her entire worldview would be like shattered by that one.
She might need to like. She probably goes to therapy after that.
Yeah,
just like I didn't even realize there was this much like weirdness in the world. I didn't know like the depths of despair of humanity. Yeah, no, it would shatter her psyche for sure.
The idea of like being with a girl and like doing the whole foreplay bit, like kissing her, telling her like you're so fucking sexy, babe, like all of this stuff, and then just like nothing. And then, but you're like totally undeterred, like being like, this is something also that I think guys sometimes do that's very funny is when their dick won't work, but they like, it doesn't bother them at all. And they just like pretend like,
yeah, don't worry.
Yeah.
Just like, yeah, it's just going to do its own thing.
they just they just keep going.
Just start pushing rope.
Yeah.
There's like yeah. Like it's whatever. You gotta you guys are bungee jumping together or something. Yeah, dude. That's crazy. I think I was talking to I don't know who I was talking to about how people like use Cialis now when they're young, and everyone's like, "Oh, it's because of porn." I'm like, I actually don't think it's because of porn. I think it's because they like do too much cocaine, and it's how you offset the cocaine.
I always wonder what because
they show Blue Chew for young people for that. I think it's drugs. It's not your erectile dysfunction.
I don't know what to blame it on because there's all of this bizarre stuff, right? Like we have, it's like maybe it's because you're sedentary, maybe it's because you're like a bitch, maybe, and like people will say it's porn or whatever. Like I really just don't believe this pervasive thing about like porn causing like all of this weird shit, right? Like, and part of the reason that I believe this is because, like I get called porn brained by a new girl probably every 30 minutes on the internet. And I haven't watched porn since like, I don't know, fucking like mid-college. Like I've been on the like autistic like semen retention shit for longer than like anybody else in this sphere. And I've been like more of a retard about it than anyone. And the idea that like like it's always in something that's like totally unrelated to like porn consumption. Like some girl will see a guy making fun of like a fat girl and be like, "Oh, you're just porn brained or something." And it's like, what the fuck are you talking about? Porn makes guys love fat girls. Have you ever watched your roommate? Like if you watch your roommate when he gets out of a relationship and goes into a depression and starts doing like a gooner spiral where he just like fucking whacks off for like 4 hours a day, like locked in his bedroom, like he literally only becomes attracted to like fat bitches. Like it's on the same level as steroids in its ability to make you attracted to just like overweight women.
All it does is it opens up your mind to the possibilities. If anything, I would imagine it would definitely not be like.
It lowers your standards. Like
lowers the inhibition.
Like people saying that porn is raising their standard. It's like no, dude,
no
that's
chance.
Absolutely not how it's working. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no chance. And it's definitely not the case. I mean, like I can see maybe like when they're like, oh, it's weird. Like everyone's like, those off cases where like high school kids have ED. That's probably porn, maybe, sure. Or they're just scared because like
that's what I would say. I think more often than not, like
they're just scared.
It's unironically the fact that like, and maybe it is porn in the sense that porn is the specific thing that's instilling in these guys' minds that like they have to be at like a specific level of performance or something. But like I know a lot of guys who before losing their virginity were like they didn't want to have sex, not because they were like, oh, I am just not attracted to women, but because they were like
intimidated.
They were like, I'm gonna like fuck up and she's gonna think I'm bad and she's gonna tell her friends. Like she's gonna share my DMs, bro. Like she's gonna expose me as like laying shitty dick.
And I mean that's how I was too when I was young. Like it's inherently kind of scary. Yeah, but I would imagine
because it's like this is like there's not really a lot of pressure on the girl in this situation, right? Like
they fucking lay there and then
oh, she's a shitty lay. Like that's not really.
They lay there and then they talk themselves up afterwards.
Yeah,
like shut up, you didn't do anything. And then like I think that like mostly it's like I don't know. I think like porn brain stuff is more so like maybe when you're like old ass gooner, but like I would say most of the time if you're taking dick pills. Either A, it's just like when people take the horny rhino pills, it's just because like they're just being a fucking psycho, or B, it's just because they did like a bunch of cocaine and they're like, my dick's not gonna work, but I have this as insurance. Because who do they market Blue Chew towards? They don't market it towards 50-year-olds. They market like they used to do Viagra or like 60-year-olds. They market it to 20-year-olds, right? Because it's like you're partying, you're geeked out, and now you need a little help down there. That's what I imagine, though. I never tried it, though, but that's what I hear. Well, that's what I assume, rather.
So Cialis is actually something that's been used pretty commonly in the bodybuilding community. Because like it's a PDE5 inhibitor, which like it doesn't selectively make your penis engorge itself on blood, right? It makes all muscle, like all smooth muscle tissue engorge on blood. So bodybuilders used it because they wanted to go to the gym and get a big fucking pump, right?
Ah.
Right. The only thing is, if you then get an erection in the gym, it does you are in a little bit more trouble than you might otherwise be, right? But I think they also found out that like in a similar way to if you take fucking clenbuterol, if you gradually ramp your dose of clenbuterol if you gradually ramp the dose of clenbuterol up over a long enough period of time, if you do this like quickly, I think it just kills you instantly. But if you do it over like a year or something, you can approach like gigadose clenbuterol, and it apparently has anabolic effects at some level. Like it goes from just being like a fat burner to being like actually anabolic and promoting muscle growth. And I think the same is true of Cialis. I might be wrong. I'm not a doctor. Again, I have no fucking idea what I'm talking about, but I think I saw a fair number of threads about this, about like how at some dose Cialis actually becomes anabolic.
That's
so
sick.
Like,
that's so funny.
Yeah, so it's like you're taking dick pills. This is the ultimate. I'm reading Playboy for the articles, bro. Like I'm taking dick pills for the pump, right?
Here's the thing: if it engorges all smooth muscle, including dick, and it could potentially be antibiotic at high enough dose, did we just find a way to grow your dick size?
I think probably. I mean, steroids do the same thing too. Like everyone does the meme about like, oh, like steroids make your dick small, but it's like, I mean, just think about it for 2 seconds, right? Like how do people's dicks grow bigger through puberty?
Yeah, they're getting like juice out on animal.
It basically androgens, right? So like, why would like ramping the dose of androgens up? I mean, and it's again, like even in women, like women take steroids and it makes their fucking clit grow like 5 inches, bro. Like it doesn't make your dick smaller. I'm not gonna say definitively that it makes your dick like bigger in all cases, because like I think usually it just has no effect, but like it certainly, like if it raises your blood pressure enough, that'll make your dick fucking half an inch bigger. But yeah, I mean, obviously your balls go away.
Your balls is. I feel like they always they just conflated the balls and dick thing. I was like, I'm pretty sure it makes your balls small, but your dick is fine. But I don't know.
Yeah, I think that I've always wondered about that. Like, I wonder how much that would matter, right? Like, because I mean, maybe I just have like mid balls or something, but like this, it hasn't ever been something that women have commented on. So like, I honestly don't even know if women would notice. Like, if my balls suddenly shrank to like 1/4 of their size, would they?
I wonder if they would notice. That's really funny. I feel like probably. I feel like for 1/4, that's a very drastic size difference. So maybe they would.
There's like an autistic girl who would notice instantly, right? Like if you were dating like, she would notice immediately.
Absolutely, yeah. Because she's like, oh, I noticed. Yeah, absolutely. She would instantly notice.
She would do like a fluid displacement test, right? Like a fluid displacement volumetric test on your balls.
Fucking
and
Archimedes
over the course of 2 months that like they've been decreasing at an exponential rate, right?
She'd fill her mouth with spit and do an Archimedes test.
God, dude.
You're like, aha, I knew it.
But like, if you're not dating like an actual autist girl, I really don't think that this is something that they notice that much. And now, of course, I'm literally going to have there's going to be like battalions of women in the comments saying, "Oh, that's just because you have mid balls, Lucas."
Listen, like if this is what gets the battalions of women in our DM,
right? Yeah, if we would care about your balls if they were of the right quality, but you're just indicating to everyone, you're broadcasting to the legions of female followers that you have mid balls.
Yeah, I'm sorry to disappoint, ladies, but the balls here are mid. I'm working on it though.
Maybe they're not even mid. I don't know.
I'm drinking pomegranate juice every day, and got my zinc pills,
dude. So I was in a group chat, and I was floating to them. This is a mostly girl group chat. I was floating to them my idea of Botoxing my dick, and they were saying like, what you should do is Botox your ball sack. So when it does that weird thing where it squirms around and stuff, like when you like sun it or it gets warm or something, it just doesn't do that anymore because that's weird. And I was like, I love that. Like that looks
it's a fun feeling though.
Yeah. Yeah,
let it do its thing, bro.
I pushed back really strongly against that. I was like, I don't like. I understand that it might aesthetically disturb you, but that isn't worth the downside.
Yeah, I mean, clearly that function's there for a reason. Also, the little bros are chilling.
What the
bro.
fuck is the reason of the function?
Oh, it's like a heat thing.
Really?
Because if you're so like they contract. So like there's a Goldilocks zone for heat for your
Oh,
balls.
right.
and for
Your
sperm
testicles
production.
want to be like between like fucking like 86 and 88 degrees or some shit like that.
So yeah, they attract and retract depending on how cold or warm
But
you
like,
are.
I don't know if you've done this. When you go out and like when I go and I sunbathe naked, they do this like constant. My ball sack is always.
Oh yeah,
moving,
they do.
bro.
Well, yeah, they're always moving. Yes, that I think is just because of either A, they have direct sun on them, so they have the heat, so that maybe they're trying to recalibrate, or B, they're just vibing, bro. The little boys are in a fiesta. Let them chill.
We are absolutely destroying our female listener numbers with this episode. They're going from 10% to like negative 20%, man.
I don't know. Maybe the ladies want to hear about balls. There's not a lot of media catering to balls for them, you know. And then until
they
we
are
start
kind of mysterious, right?
yeah, like it's like until like there's more media catering to balls, the women's appreciation is going to continue to dwindle. What you need to do is continue to meme it the way that people have memed like feet or memeing ass. You just need to meme balls, and once the balls
I almost
get their,
like
their
I
time
don't
to
really
shine,
feel like balls. Like I know technically they have to be sexual because they create the male sex hormone. They create like the male reproductive like stuff or whatever. But like I don't really think of balls as sexual, right? Like I think this is my weird like Meninist talking point here is like in the same way that there are a lot of women who don't believe that breasts are sexual. Like
yeah,
I would like make the argument that like testicles don't have to be inherently sexual.
I
like,
agree. Yeah, like I should be able to wear like 2-inch.
They should,
inseam
I
shorts.
should be able to wear like a 2-inch inseam shorts with my balls hanging out one of the legs, right?
And it's like whatever. It's like a turkey neck. It's like who cares?
Because
No
it's like
one-
I don't feel like any girl sees it and they're like I'm feeling lustful, right? Like this is
There's
you
like
know?
like why is his balls out?
Yeah,
But if we
it's
made
just
it
like,
more
that's
normalized,
weird. Like that's sort of like strange looking. Like none of them are like, oh, like I can't
Meanwhile-
focus on my homework. His balls are out, man. Like
see, meanwhile, girls would if they have their tits out, you're like, oh, her tits are out, and guys are like, that's sexualized. So clearly, it's actually the opposite, and that balls are not sexualized, and then consequently, we should be able to have them out in sun, at least with ambient sunlight, right? A little like occlusive sun with the 2-inch inseams.
yeah,
right?
that's exactly where I was going. Is like, I mean, the reason that like sunning your balls is like a fucking luxury activity at this point is you have to demonstrate that you have a private enough estate that you can go out naked at this point, right? But it doesn't have to be that way, right? The proletariat should be able to just walk around like this on a daily basis, right? If it's determined to be like, especially, there's enough studies right now, even like right this minute, indicating that this is like a healthy thing to do, right? This is a healthy behavior. It regulates your hormones in a positive way. It has good like a good overall effect on mood and stuff like that. Like and for what? Like we're preventing them from doing this for what? So that
For what?
women
Exactly.
can be shielded from seeing like ball sacks.
It's normal. It's normal.
It's like we're literally killing men. We're literally killing the male population to protect women from seeing ball sacks sometimes.
And
it doesn't make any sense.
The gynocracies at work. We need to seize the means of production and let our balls show.
This is actually like an insane.
The balls are the means of production.
The more that I think about this, the more that I'm thinking we have to go on like a Twitter posting campaign to like reverse this. Like this is an insane facet of the longhouse that I had never even considered before.
This is like the most longhouse you could be. We literally don't have our means of production because we can't sun our balls.
Right, like I could go so far as to say that the entire cause of declining testosterone levels, declining sperm levels,
is the lack of
because we've been forced to shove our testicles into synthetic fabrics and out of sunlight, right? Because of women.
And who makes those synthetic fabrics? Women.
It's who makes polyester? Women.
It's all been women the whole time, bro.
It's everything. All that you go to the top, it's all top to bottom women. Every fucking one of them.
Overrepresented, if you ask me. Like there's way too many women involved in each aspect of this vertical integration. So no, we're gonna get them back. If anything, we should make Verse and Lucas like mini shorts or Verse and Lucas
crotchless boxers.
Yeah, crotchless boxers. That'd be so
with the fucking raccoon. We should do something really funny where like there's like a raccoon graphic, and instead of like having the raccoon tail, it's like our ball sack hanging through.
like if you turn around, it's like the back of the raccoon. The nuts are just,
You have to, you like forcing everyone to like stop shaving so that it can have like the fuzzy tail.
Oh, it's so funny. Yeah, dude. Absolutely. I like this idea. The person who's just crotchless underwear is so funny. Just on a meme level, I feel like we could sell out instantly.
I think we could run far with this one, dude. I think we might have struck a little bit of mimetic gold with.
I like this.
What's their fucking line? Like save the titties or something. Like there has to be a fun, very marketable equivalent of this for balls.
Yeah, we need to figure out a way to do a free the nipple campaign, but for balls. Well, we can brainstorm that. I'm gonna start looking at people who produce crotchless male lingerie.
Well, I think the funniest part might actually be not getting them crotchless, but having them sent to somewhere that does like screen printing and have them like print a dotted line on like the part
to
and
cut
then
them out yourself.
We have our listeners cut out a section of their like it's like a fun interactive DIY project, right?
That's fun. I like this. And we start getting everyone to post their balls on the timeline. That would be the fun, like the biggest W. Just as like a meme,
just like totally destroying the timeline.
Everyone's just like, why are Verse and Lucas like this?
And it's one of those weird things because it's like obviously like it's like homo adjacent, but it's not directly gay, right?
Yeah.
Like this isn't a behavior that anybody really associates with, because like I don't even think that homosexuals like balls that much, right?
I don't think they're into it that much either. No,
like there are some guys out there, like, you know, there's some guys in like Med Gold's comments who are like, yeah, bro, you gotta fucking make her like suck your balls, but like I think they're literally just like 13-year-olds. Like I don't know about you, dude, but like it's kind of fucking sensitive down there. I don't want anybody sucking on that shit. It feels.
I mean,
like
I
it's
can't
too
agree
much
with
feeling,
this,
bro. It's weird.
I'll let them. They got to put the work in. I'm okay with them getting down there, but I'm not. But I do think largely they're not overtly sexual.
Yeah, maybe I'm the outlier here. Maybe
I think it's literally like a
Jewish balls.
Nah, it's like a coin flip. It's kind of like the same thing with nipples. Like some people's nipples are really sensitive. Other people's like they're like, I can't feel anything.
Yo, maybe what happened is when they circumcised me, all the extra nerve endings connected to my balls.
To your balls.
Are you circumcised?
I'm not. So actually,
that's
I like
so
this.
Fucking funny, dude. We should do a Twitter poll. I bet there might actually be some merit by that. I bet there's like a weird like zero sum thing with like, because it doesn't make any fucking sense that it would just go away, right?
Yeah, it makes more sense that it would be just like your nerves would be dispersed and like they're gonna go and reconnect to something, right? Like I took AP biology in high school, and I'm confident enough to say that they would just reconnect somewhere else, right, man? I like that. This is a good poll. This is where your data scientist hat needs to come on, because this one actually might be real.
That would be.
I'm trying to think. Now that I think about it,
absolutely hilarious.
It's all the uncircumcised swarthoids.
Imagine if by circumcising men, you not only like reduce their sexual pleasure through these other things, but you make their balls non-viable as a sexual accessory.
That's so funny.
Like it's like a double whammy, man.
We're
definitely going to have to support Palestine. Actually, I forgot about being circumcised. Fuck those guys.
Circumcision thing alone is why Israel.
Yeah, like fuck Israel, dude. Give me my foreskin back, Netanyahu.
Is that his name, Netanyahu?
That's his name. I don't know how to fucking pronounce it.
I like Netanyahu. I like Netanyahu.
It might be like Netanyahu. That sounds way more accurate. Netanyahu. I'm gonna have to.
Netanyahu is hilarious.
That was like a comical level of like mispronunciation. I'm gonna get fucking banned for that one hard, man.
Netanyahu is a funny. Like I thought, like at first I heard like I thought it was like an Asian, like I don't know, like a high up Asian. I was like, oh, you knew like some real Israeli political shit. You knew like. With the fucking like,
no, and it was like I'm just pronouncing the prime minister's name so badly that you can't even recognize it.
Nice. Hell yeah.
What do you think? What do you think? Like, because they just got stormed by like Hamas, right? Like, what would they do when the actual army of like right wing incels boats over to their borders and knocks down their wall and demands him to give them their foreskins back?
They would crumble.
Yeah, like they couldn't even take the fucking like these Muslims aren't even fighting for anything, bro. It's like for land or something. Like I'm fighting for my foreskin.
They got like fucking wacky races.
I will be infinitely more powerful of an enemy than any sort of like a weird like the homeland guy. Like
fucking Hamas is doing like wacky racist ass like power fucking gliding into Israel. Nah, we'd come with the stormtroopers. It'd be over. They have no chance.
I do think it's really funny that they like fucking like used like the Fortnite parasails.
Yeah, that shit is hilarious. That's like the funniest thing I've ever seen.
Like, I mean, this is what we were kind of saying earlier is like the Hamas guys definitely they are slurping off of the mimetic flows in a lot more direct of a way than Israel appears to be.
If they drop a fucking school bus on parachutes in, they win. Like that's
that is bizarre. Like, what if? You know, because there's obviously like a sense that you need to win like the actual war, right? Like you can't win just entirely off of like the media PR war, but like there is also a level where you can win the PR war so hard that like you'll have a bunch of weird Zoomers doing like Fortnite dances up to the gates of Israel, like and they'll just like, you know, maybe they'll shoot them or something, and the bodies will pile up. But like at some point, it's like we have more Zoomers than the Israel Jews have bullets, right? Yep. Like if Hamas wins the PR war hard enough and they decide, you know, like, okay, well, maybe instead of like killing off the kids with like heroin and fentanyl and stuff, we're going to send them over to the gates of Israel, right? Like that's the new use for them. Like I don't think they have a high enough wall.
No chance. No, I think if they really capitalize their meme ability, they absolutely can get the youth of the world. I think first off, take a video of them dropping a bus in, maybe hit the fucking some Fortnite dances over some bodies, and I think they're in, dude. Bro. If they start doing Fortnite dances,
like I mean, and that's the other thing is like you can't even really get mad about it, right? Like it's one of those things where like everyone's obviously going to get mad at people for spitting on bodies and like peeing on them and stuff like that. But like, can you really get mad at someone for like doing a Zoomer TikTok dance over the body? Like you don't there's no rhetorical framework by which to be offended by this, right? It's just like you would have to just be like, oh my god, that's just so I'm outraged. But it's like, why are you outraged? Like
the more you outrage about it, the better like their meme is
substantially less disrespectful than everything that everyone else is doing. It's just substantially like funnier and more ridiculous.
Yeah, I mean, if you do like any of the like the video game, like if they start like Halo teabagging people after they kill, like
like if they start shouting out like PewDiePie or something, like I mean, we really should just be sending this whole thing as like a propaganda reel to Hamas.
Absolutely. Or if we did like a head cam of like Hamas and they're just like, your dog water, go ahead. Like
I love how we like started off this whole thing with like oh, this is so gay. I'm so above it all. I have no opinion. And now by the end of it, we've like talked ourselves into being like, you know, like Hamas warlords defending our podcast intern.
Hey, listen, we never claimed to be.
I never claimed to be honest or rhetorically consistent.
They're definitely not consistent. I'll say that.
Absolutely not.
If there's any consistency here, is the memes win it with us every time, and these memes are so much funnier than pro-Israel memes.
It's going to be so funny also when we like, by the time we release this in like 2 weeks or something, like Hamas and Palestine like won't even exist. It will just be like a massive glowing cavern or something. Like they'll have been completely nuked. And
we should definitely put this one
on so quickly. We'll now be talking about like COVID-19 and everyone's going to be like, wow, these fuck ups are still talking about the...
No, this one's too topical. We have to do this one next week. I guess there's 2 episodes here. So yeah,
there are 2. I was definitely thinking we released this shit. I mean, this has been pretty good, dude. Yeah, no, I mean, definitely talking about like the Israeli-Palestine shit needs to be dropped.
There's way more. Yeah, immediately. Plus, it's also like
it's fucking Monday. Like, I have to basically edit this and put it out like tomorrow, right?
Oh, I mean, we could do it. If you could do it that fast, I'll do it for tomorrow.
We should absolutely do it tomorrow, dude. There's no fucking way that we want to be waiting on this one, right? You know how quickly the dopamine drives.
That's true. So how about all right, so we'll stop recording now just because otherwise it'll be too hard to edit. but or like it starts to become a
I
hassle
don't
to
think
edit.
there's even anything that we need to take out. I think we did good.
When he gets older, he won't sound like this anymore.